G'day, welcome back to my Oxygen Not Included playthrough as we continue to just try and survive one day at a time. Alright, so thank you for those that wrote comments. The first thing that we want to address is this automation here. My issue being that I'm leaving the automation on top of it. And if you don't get rid of the automation, so if we say cancel this one for now and we wait for someone to come down and do this, even though it's not connected to anything that is automating, it will just stop. Lesson learned. So you can see there, it just stops. So what we need to do is, even though you can't, well, I mean, you can see that it's just red as opposed to white, which is probably the giveaway. See the difference between Ali moving around and someone like Ellie, who's been doing it for a while. As soon as it's gone there, it pumps. Thank you for that one. Also, thank you for the feedback regarding what to do with these two. Both thoughts would get rid of them. I did like the argument of getting rid of them because it'll free up my wranglers. So what I'm gonna do is I can't just kill this, can I? I feel like I mean, otherwise I'll just put that straight back in there. I feel like what I'm now going to do is just sort of say, kill the guys that are existing in here. Well, it feels very savage with how many of them getting in there and going to town on these guys. I mean, isn't part of our logo cuddling one of these? No, not anymore. Good, kill them. Alright, so that's all of them. I would love to just get rid of him too. Because otherwise he's just going to be wandering free. So maybe... what we'll do is we will deconstruct that. Deconstruct these. Now what I want to do as well is probably just build farming all the way along here. So what I think I have to do first is build a row of cement there so that I can build hydroponic tiles above it without like sort of exposing the air below it. How are we looking, plumbing? I haven't had a look to see what happens in the 5 minutes that this actually is active. I assume that what happens is it reaches here and then just stops, and so it just gets locked up. This is a long thing of water. Probably I could just add like 4 tiles to and then just say put an arrow up so that it does push out. I mean, possibly what I need to do is actually make this cable longer. This pipe, because what I need is I want this to be clearing out, and I want and I don't want this water to be getting used. So if this isn't going to last, say, the 10 minutes of that needing water, then sort of want to change it so that it will. To have the The other problem, though, is that that's quite warm water, I think, that's in these pipes. You know, like 33 degrees, so I don't want it running around um, my base too much, heating everything up. Alright, cool. I hadn't noticed, but we've got, this guy's kicked up to 100. He's steamified everything in the room. There's only a tiny little bit of water in this corner that hasn't liquefied. Crude oil's sitting at a chilly 66 degrees. Amazing how much we've sort of pumped through all this water. First part of it is that we're not using that refinery as much anymore either. Star map. Good to learn as well that I don't have to sort of like search everything on each level. I only have to analyze one object on a layer, and then I can bounce to the next one. So I mean, once I've sort of hit all the way to the top, I can go back and do some of those other ones. But to analyze the very last thing, I don't have to get all the way up. This is really filling up too. Oh cool, this guy's off and running again. I have more than one source of natural gas yet, or am I still only operating off that one guy? Eruption period 414 seconds every 713 seconds. So that's a pretty consistent sort of flood of water, it sounds. It does feel like this is still getting used for a lot of things. Let's have a look at the life of the water here. It's being used in the bathrooms, and it is being used for the plants, which is understandable because it's our cold water. Used for the bathrooms, our plants, bathrooms. And down here, in case of emergency stuff. Now, potentially, if I just cut this supply here, it would mean that this pushing water out actually could go further, because it would be that it can fill everything down here and everything along here. Actually, it's doing that anyway, essentially, because this, as long as there's water in that square, this is blocked. Trying to think if there's a better way of... I feel like I should reclaim this water here too. I mean, it's not like water is running out of by any means. That come from? The very guilty thing now to have that stone hatchling egg sitting there. Probably also do that, and we can deconstruct. Oh no, we want some air flowing up. We do have air getting pushed in here, so we'll let that sort of float up through the base. It is funny that that this is basically the central point of my my base, and I've never gotten rid of one of the squares right next to it. See if we can make that monumental move. The other plumbing that I didn't get rid of is this line here. It does stop here. I don't think it's worth trying to get all the way over to this guy. Keep this supply of water going. I mean, not necessarily the salt water. So this polluted water I could claim to get all in here if I needed. What are we up to now? 104. Got a lot of sort of stutter stop this. Is there any value in if I just put a second one of these aqua tuners right next to this one, and then just sight unseen let all water go into here on the assumption that it's all about 40 degrees, and so it will pass through both and then be fine? I did sort of power through those pretty quick. Or can I stop doing this? Have I got a sufficient amount of rocks that this was it's pumping out? See, idleness is getting it. Okay. See where that goes to. It's a bit hard when you've got the it again. Every time it's already built, it covers up the point that I'm trying to see. We've got to get a ladder up there for... actually, let's build a ladder here. Or all of that to get dug out. Gotta be careful though, we don't want May doing that before. Anyone doing that before we actually have some available space. I would like a person. Increased bladder. People have commented that that's actually a good thing. Immune to food poison, that's good. Creativity, doesn't matter. Buffed, increased strength. I think you might be our winner there, Quinn. Quinn, welcome. We have a very important job for you. This light bulb needs to be running. And I think you're the only person that can do it. So can I now get rid of this roof there? I assume I can. I mean, I don't really need to, though. These guys are happy anyway. Doesn't much matter. Oh, you're already stressed, Quinn. I mean, if the idea was that you came from, like, from Earth to get here, like, I could understand that you feel very homesick, but, hat? Do you want a hat, Quinn? We can cover up that weird haircut you've got there. Do I go for that again here? Okay. So Quinn is a doctor by trade. Have any? Got no hats for you yet, Quinn. Hold tight. Try not to stress too much. Did you get assigned a bedroom? Pick one yourself. Yep. I realize that I do want my 20 people, and this area here is what we're waiting on still. It's very slow going. Clearing this pipe. Let's have a look. Firstly, down here. Make that change. Please. Great. Secondly, deconstruct that liquid pipe. Great. Watery mess. Mop that up. It's so funny when it's just like one single... I'm always amazed at how much stuff is in one single piece of the pipe. Every time. Okay. Then what we're going to do is plumbing. You're going to come down here, down along there. Then we're going to have to deconstruct this one guy. Yep, and we're gonna have to clean up that mess now. Everywhere. And we will go up. Done. And let's build a bit of a ladder just here for that. Let's mop this liquid spill. As long as I can do this fast enough that, I was gonna say that never empties, but I didn't make it. Well, needs to get in there and get this bridge, this ladder built. Okay, there we go. So now we'll see is this much longer pipe fill up. And it means that this guy will also get a bit more of a chance to empty that pond a bit. I mean, that's sort of not a long-term thing here because obviously, like you can see here, he's filled it up again. So um, by the time, like this won't really have any value until this pond here is empty. The other thing I can do with this now too is I could set up a liquid bridge here, push this water out of here, and no real urgency on that. There's a fair bit of water in there though. $108, slowly building up. We're coming from down here. I guess we've just melted through one piece of ice there, and now a whole bunch of stuff's been able to get through. How are we looking? This stuff still okay. Can't believe that it's actually reached a point that this is now so inefficient for sort of taking water from here that this is almost completely full. But meanwhile, this thing is still like filling nice and quick. The real problem is that there's this water system here. There's no way to sort of apparently have it go into any useful location. Alright, telescope idle, thank you. Oh, look at this. Cannot be launched without an Atmos suit. Astronaut assigned, no destination set. It looks like there's a fair few things we're going to have to work out before we send them. Alright, this guy we can deconstruct again. Alright, so we can just say copy settings and it'll just take a... There we go. So I realize that we're bringing in a few more people. So it is probably worthwhile getting our food supply upped again. What's Abe been doing here? Athletics 6. Athletics 0 for win, so... I do like the idea that I can't bring in more people until the two of those are done. I will look at what people are... like if someone does look like they're extremely valuable, I'll certainly look to bring them in. This is looking quite good. Notice that Sun's having to hold his breath when he's down in this area. I don't know if there's too much we can do for that. A lot of chlorine down in this section too. I've been using copper this whole time. This is another one that take that iron. As soon as I get the achievement for this, I'm pretty certain it's sitting on 99 at the moment. Just comes someone with some iron. But once that... There are chips already there. Let's turn this guy off for a moment. Can I manually ask someone to do a tune-up just so I can finish that off and then ink that power station? Do I need something set? Or what I want to do there? Maybe the generators are already sort of like... tuned up. You have to wait for them to detune, or I'll use that next microchip. So the only question with that is it fine for me to turn off the filters? Like, will someone still come and use those microchips? I assume they will, but my assumptions definitely have been proven wrong in the past. Yeah, I definitely don't want to put this tube on here while I'm actively attempting to get rid of this room. I mean, in the same logic, I could cut off this guy from sending anything, but I do also want him to just sort of actually be getting stuff out of this room. So there is two different objectives going on. Eagerly awaiting to see how this guy goes. It does feel like we're actually a chance of getting this steam turbine working. Look at that. There's actually a sparkly light that goes all the way around this thing that we've never got to see. Get rid of that. Get rid of these as well. Surprised that all of these are still full, because I thought that the majority of stuff was meant to be just dropped in here. Oh, was I slowly getting rid of these? See, someone's just put dirt in here. Did you not just be putting, like... Was it someone said that stuff that smells? So maybe there is a justification there. Yeah, I think there was a list of things that I was told not to let just sit out in the open like this. Oh, there we go. Is he doing it? Unrolled. Get me that achievement. See it pop. I'm certain that I was on... Where are we? There we go. Right, so let's deconstruct that. Stop spending our metals on that. It's nice to see how many guys we've got in here. I wonder what, like... Nothing there at the moment has been credited with their meat. We're getting lots of them in there. I mean, great to see our egg hatchery is completely full. And I could put another one in there too. what I want. It's the we've got to leave 2 of these for glossy drecklets, but the rest I can probably just deconstruct. Maybe I need to take one of my oxy ferns, put it down here. These look like they're all eager to get in there. And Stinky asking about a hat. I mean, should we give Stinky a hat? Is he... I was just like Stinky, sort of unique and recognizable by his little tuft of hair. I mean, that's a very Stinky hat, isn't it? But Travaldo's already wearing it. Oh, he's wearing the improved one. Crop tending? Nah, that's not Stinky. Demolition? Pretty cool hat. How about it, Stinky? Are you putting on your other one first? Here we go. Oh. Interesting. A bit of iron sitting down here. I wonder what that's all from. There must be a... What's he running around? Like a smooth hatchling or something? Or... grab that one for now. We're looking slowly. I don't really need these guys in here anymore, do I? I mean, I don't need to cool the water because the water's already coming in cool. So we'll uproot 2 of them. Probably should set up a I'll have to dig out, say, these 2 pieces of granite so that I can put a pump at the bottom here, and then I guess have that pumping down to this oil refinery too. I think that this move has been a really good thing for this oil refinery. That's right, that's where I'm getting natural gas from. This guy. And if we have a look at this, you can see this is essentially an unending amount of oil that this pump can give us. Like, surely it'll be a long time before we struggle with that. Even then I can still sort of just cut through some other sections to more oil down there. Good to see. Machinery skill. Alright. Why not Quinn? You got your athletics to 1. Killing it. I don't really ever get it where I see them sort of breathe out and they breathe. You can sort of see their breath. I would have assumed that meant that they were cold, opposed to sort of in this 28-degree heat. So we need, what, an Atmos suit? 2? Let's just build 2 for now. And I guess as we continue to wait for... See if the steam kicks in. It's up there. It is definitely getting hotter. Not hot enough yet that this water over here has melted. You can see it's hitting 100 degrees, so it's got to be real close. The oil's not as phased though, it's still holding at 60, 67. Oh, that's granite there. I'm amazed that some of this hasn't melted. The ice over here definitely is going quick now. Alright, that brings us to the end of another one. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. Yeah, I can't think of if there was anything specifically that wanted to know about. I suppose the water. What do you think about all this water down here? And should I reroute this? Should I reroute this in a way that it's, say, heading up here, and ending up in this tank to sort of fund that, and then just open? Is that more worthwhile? I don't feel like that's more worthwhile than just having this just sent straight down to take care of this, because it seems like more of a process to send that up here to include it in the drinking water. But then obviously with how long this is taking to drain, there isn't that much water being used in the southern bit, so it doesn't much matter. What do we think? And yeah, otherwise, until next time, later. See ya.